Hey everybody, welcome to Visual Communication and Media. My name is Adam Rozeski. It's a pleasure to see each and every one of you, and welcome to Summer Term 1. That's correct. So I have the pleasure of teaching you for the next 5.5 weeks, almost 6 weeks, and I'm really excited because we get to talk about visual communication, and you're probably asking yourself, well, how does this pertain to my stuff? I know this is probably more focused on design or visuals or some type of artist capability. And that may be true in a lot of aspects, but you have to realize in a lot of ways in visual communication, we communicate visually in so many ways. Just by reading letters and words, or understanding visuals or images or symbols or signs that understand where we need to go or what direction we need to use. They are used in every single industry, and a lot of times visuals are built specifically to communicate proper things in different areas. For example, as a hospital, there's a lot of different codes and different area and different key codes that matter between certain patients and certain emergencies, and those are all dealt with different colors and different symbols that are applied with different audio at times, so that people can understand communication and what they need to do when they get these alarms and how they happen, or these emergencies and how they go about. And it's the same thing in any other industry as well, like trying to read a guidebook or understanding directions or symbols in military standpoints, or even in where I come from in video game design. We use visuals all the time to teach people how to play the games and how to understand enemies and balance and all those aspects. So visuals are everywhere. We communicate with them constantly, even when you don't think about it, in a lot of different ways. Even letters are visuals, and they give signs and symbols to us to understand things. We see images not only as communication points, but also we understand them through experiences, and they shape our perceptions in more ways than one when we see certain things or we understand things. And that's what really matters. And we're going to talk about this on how people have used visuals to communicate with people, convince people, deter them, or to do other things in order to use visuals to maybe even possibly change the narrative in a lot of different aspects. And we see that a lot in social media. And we're going to focus on all that and how they're kind of built over the next few weeks. And I'm really excited to teach y'all this. So just a little bit of heads up, my name is Adam Rozeski. It's a pleasure to see each and every one of you. You don't have to worry about calling me Professor Rozeski or Mr. Mrozeski or anything. You just call me Adam. We're all adults. It works perfectly here for me. So just to give you a little bit of background, I actually went to Penn State to play hockey. I got my engineering degree in my associates in mechanical engineering. But then I tore my knee out right before I got to Division I, when I was starting to work my way up to Penn State's Division I team. And then I tore my knee out, my ankle, and it was like a whole 1.5 years of like rehab, and I just never got back into it. So I ended up flying back home to live with my family and work for my dad in the airlines. And then eventually I was a big gamer, always a big gamer when I grew up. But I wanted to learn how games were built in more ways than one, really understand how they were utilized and how they were so popular and what they were due to trigger that process of really loving a game and really understanding the challenge of a game. So I ended up going to UCF in Full Sail. I got my entertainment business degree from Full Sail, or from UCF, and then I got two of my master's degrees from Full Sail. I got a project management and also in game design, and I ran from there after that. But yeah, I was a competitive gamer. I did a lot of esports before in the early 2000s when esports wasn't really a big thing. A big MMO gamer too. Like World of Warcraft and EverQuest and Star Wars Galaxies. I played a lot of Battlefront 2 tournaments and Gran Turismo, Smash Brothers. So I was just an all-around like fighting, driving, and RPG gamer. But I ended up getting, both my master's in science with project management and game design, and then my bachelor's. And I worked for a lot of companies such as GP Games, Activision, EA. I also bounced around a lot of smaller studios afterwards, such as Wasteland. There was a few others called High Noon Studios, and then there were a few others like Slug Games. It was I bounced around a lot of studios that were trying to evolve, and some of them I started myself. I worked for a really good studio called Burnout Game Ventures that still exists today as a publisher. And then I ended up going to the military, working over with the Air Force, trying to understand VR systems in VR gaming and really how that kind of ties into training for fighter jets and all that. So that was a lot of fun. Worked on a ton of games. Actually, it's probably not 40, it's probably more like 50. And then a bunch of like I think about 30 to 40 military projects as well. So I bounced around. I know management, I know design, I understand the concept of really building a company from the ground up, and it's paid into my experiences, and I use visuals all the time. And we'll talk a lot about this in lecture, but just to give everybody a heads up, I have 2 types of assignments, maybe 3 technically if you count the live lectures. I have 2 types of assignments. I have discussions, which initial posts are always due on Tuesday, reply post Saturday. Week 1, I'm a little bit lenient on this, so if you want to turn in your initial post on Saturday along with your reply post for week 1, since it's the first week and everybody's kind of getting into it, I'm okay with that. That's perfectly fine, and that'll be good. One thing I do ask for your discussion post, please make sure you're doing at least 2 paragraphs per each post. 2 for your initial post and 2 for your reply post. So you should have 4. And I look for at least 4 to 5 sentences in each of those posts. So when you're trying to do your discussions, don't give me like 1-line answers or 2-line answers, because you're going to need examples to back up your discussions in order to prove your answers and prove your opinions. And that's what really matters in a lot of ways. And also to give thorough feedback to your classmates. That's a big aspect. I'll go over your discussion assignment tomorrow during first lecture along with your assignments. I've come to learn with online teaching, it's good if I give you all examples, and also if I can give you a few ways to show you what I'm looking for, and that way it's going to really help you out in a lot of ways. And I'm a big guy on formatting as well, so that's a big aspect for me. The only thing that might change is the final week, which is August 12th. That's going to be a Tuesday, so keep in mind for week 6, that's going to be a really short week, so just keep an eye on the announcements. I'll give you a heads up when we get closer to it, and that'll be perfect. Then we also have our written assignments, which are all due on Sunday as well, along with your live lectures. Final day is going to be August 12th, so the only day that's going to change is the Tuesday that evening to go from there. Now, for live lectures, these are tied to your attendance, so please make sure you get them in by the end of the week. To make sure that you get your attendance points, but also your points for the live lecture as well. They are only about 5 points per lecture assignment, but you know, when you do 6 of them, 30 points could get you from a B to an A or a C to a B. Those all really matter, and make sure you get those on time. This is the only one I'm not lenient on because it's tied to your attendance. Please make sure if you are late, it automatically becomes a 0 with this. If you need more time on your live lecture, please let me know and we'll go from there. I'll go over how to do your live lecture tomorrow during class so you know how to complete this for your attendance and everything, and that's what matters. Live lectures are always on Monday each week, except for week 1, which will be Tuesday, and week 6, which will be the Sunday of week 5. The reason why I do Tuesday on week 1 is so that you get at least a day to kind of get settled in, and that way you're good. And then we'll go back to Mondays after that. So that way you have the lecture material for the whole week and you're good to go afterwards. And then week 6, I do it on Sunday because it's such a short week of like 2 days. I want to make sure you have that week 6 lecture material ready and available for you on Sunday so you have those 2 days to work with it. So it'll be good. But I'll keep you aware. I'll always post my live lecture links, my rubrics, and any welcome announcements for the week right on the announcements page. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I also post the recordings there as well. They're always located in Teams, and I'll show you how to navigate my Teams channel and a few other things of where everything's going to be located at on tomorrow during lecture. But if you miss a recording, or if you miss a live lecture, that's okay. I know people have jobs. I have 3 jobs. I teach a game design unit at Burns Science Center for high schoolers and for early college kids. I also teach this, and then I also run my consultant studio for project management, where we do consultant on management techniques for small businesses out in different areas like California, Sweden, Canada, and also in Texas. So we have a lot of different clients that kind of play around there. I get it. Run 3 jobs. If you have, and I also have 2 kids. I have an 18-year-old and a 3-year-old that's almost 4-year-old, and he bounces off the walls. There's a lot of things going on. So if you can't make the lectures, don't worry about it. I always post the recording that evening or the morning after on Tuesday. So that way you have it and you're ready to go. So that way everything's good. But I'm going to show you how to record your live lecture assignment tomorrow, and make sure those are always turned in by the end of the week because they're tied to your attendance, and if you don't get them in, they're going to be automatically a 0. So keep that in mind. Other than that, just got a couple expectations. So I'm pretty lenient on lates as long as you get your assignment in by those 7 days. That way it doesn't become a 0. You're good. But keep in mind, except for live lectures, any assignment that's late is going to be 5% off your grade. So keep that in mind. Also, another thing is we give a lot of feedback and elements to, my apologies, I forgot to say. So every day your assignment's late by 5%. If it's late, and then once it gets to 7 days, it automatically becomes 0. So keep that in mind. But I'm pretty lenient. If you contact me or let me know what's going on or anything, as long as you're communicating with me, I'll help you out in any way possible, and that's what's important. So also another thing is with discussion posts. Our discussion posts are very analytical and give a lot of feedback to classmates and everything. Please be thorough in your discussions. Give reasons and examples why that help your points out. Don't give 1 or 2 sentences. Like, try to give me at least 2 paragraphs with at least 4 to 5 sentences, and you're perfect. And give constructive feedback. That's what really helps out. Please don't do any negative feedback or anything. That doesn't help with confidence or anything. But discussion posts have always been pretty good. Everybody's been really generous on that, so that's always been good. And then just 2 rules I have. I hope you discover something that's going to tie into your industry and have fun. It's a different concept, and we're going to do a lot of discussions and projects and a lot of open analysis for class. So it's really going to be an interesting thing because we're going to take a look into the reasons why people build things. And that's what really matters in a lot of different aspects, especially with visuals. But other than that, that's all I got. So I hope to see everybody for lecture at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern, if I remember correctly. Yep, that'll be, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. Class is always going to be the exact same time except for week 6. Hope to see y'all tomorrow for lecture. The link is posted already in the announcements along with my rubrics and also just a quick opening. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Please reach me out by course message. It's a privilege to meet each and every one of you, and I hope to see everybody for lecture tomorrow. Take it easy, and thanks for being awesome. Bye-bye.